Hello. I'm outside McDonald's. I shouldn't have left so early. I forgot. It's like 6:11 now. I forgot normally I start getting ready for work. Well, I would like by 7 o'clock or so. I'd want to, get my few last things done and then get ready for work. I forgot because I'm so close to my job. I don't have to leave this early. And now I don't want to go in and order something again. I don't want to go back in and sit down. So now I'll just be in the parking lot live streaming a little bit. Keep reading my book, The Coffee Break Screenwriter, Writing Your Script 10 Minutes at a Time. It's a good book by Pilar Alessandra, and I'll give it an update on my friend Noor. Just a second. I slept pretty well last night. I woke up early. I always worry, am I going to be able to fall asleep again when I wake up early? But with some discipline, I just lied there, kept lying there, fell asleep, even though it was kind of cold last night, but I had 3 blankets on, or 2 blankets and a comforter. I was all right, and I wore my long john, like my thermal shirt. What the hell? Radio's buzzing, even though I turned the volume all the way down. I'm trying to get the camera lower. Yeah, that's a little better. Hey, Allie. So, thank goodness I'm well rested. Found out McDonald's got some good deals. I didn't realize that, although now I feel a little sick eating there. Oh, man. But I ate, like, the McChicken. It's $1. But I didn't realize Virginia sales tax is 10%. It is so high. So it's 10 cents for tax on a $1 McChicken sandwich. So I got 2 McChicken sandwiches eventually. I got 6 chicken nuggets. Those were like $2 or $3. So I'm kind of full and my stomach hurts a little now. Oh, damn. Allie says, yeah, I'm thinking about getting that iPad. I feel bad the seller on eBay scamming me. Oh, thanks. So I can have the money. Just email me again. Let me know if you want to try and work out a sale. Yes, I still have the iPad, so definitely let me know. I ate a little, and I had a tiny little smoothie, strawberry banana smoothie. Anyway, who cares about what I ate? Here's the update on Noor. I'll give real quick. And then I guess I'll stream for a while, or Allie, I don't want to talk price here. Email me. Thank you, though. And then I guess maybe I'll read a little bit in my car. Man, my car, I went through so many water bottles here. I keep filling them up at the gym, but then I drink them right after I get out of the gym. I don't want to keep buying new water bottles. Anyways, so I talked to Noor. I donated $75 to her, by the way. Which, hey, thank goodness I'm homeless now, because now I can afford to do that. Homeless doesn't mean everything's hellish. Homeless, in my case, I live in a lot of privilege for being homeless, or very privileged homelessness. Because I have my car, I have a job, I have credit cards. That's the only way I can really, buy anything. But I sent Noor $75. For those of you who don't remember, who don't know, Noor, my friend, she's a makeup artist and film student. She worked on at least 2 short films with me. One where I was on crew as well, and one I directed. And I played the main character, and she did the makeup on me, along with another makeup artist as well. But she also helped me get my job that I have to this day as a bouncer. She recommended the bar I go to, and or that I work at. And she also, a few days ago when I posted that I'm looking for couches to sleep on, said, hey, if you're ever in Austin, Texas, where she lives now, you can sleep on my couch. Well, she recently had a medical emergency. She had surgery, and she had a GoFundMe page created by her sister to raise money for her medical bills, and because she's been out of work for a few weeks. Then, this month, her roommate disappeared, and he waited until November 7th to text her to say, I'm not coming back. But he hadn't paid his share of the rent, which was $686. So she had to come up with that by November 10th, or she'd be evicted. Well, I talked to her, and she said she got an extension on the rent. It's good till the 15th. She can stay there till the 15th. And that now because she's got family around here, She'll come back to the or I don't know if she'll be staying with family, but this is kind of, I don't know if she's from here originally, but she's lived around here a long time. Obviously, we work together. So she'll be moving back to DC, at least the DC area, at least temporarily. So she won't be homeless. She'll have a place to stay, so that's good. Still, crappy situation. What the hell is wrong with people? Oh, Angela, it's a long story. Angela's asking, why am I homeless? Long story. I've been explaining it. I've got into it over and over. Look at my past videos. I won't get into it again. Look at my video saying why Ron Perlman motivated me to move out. That's a good one to explain. Part of it's just way too expensive to live around here. I'll never save money paying rent. And why am I paying all this money for something that I won't keep with me after I leave? So I paid over $20,000 in rent at the house I live in, just to have a place to sleep, basically, and work. And I didn't really need it. I go to the gym to shower and exercise. I can eat, well, not quite true, because I did eat well at home. I ate very healthy. It's kind of struggle. I can't find places that serve oatmeal. It's hard to find restaurants that serve oatmeal. I love having oatmeal for breakfast. Not because it tastes great. It doesn't. It's bland. But I want something very healthy. So that's hard to get. But anyways, so like I'd have a place to sleep, but if I was spending all that money at home, I would feel bad spending any money out or time out doing anything, because it's like, why am I spending money out when I could try and get stuff done at home? Why see a movie out if I can see a movie on TV at home or a DVD? Why exercise out at the gym when I can exercise at home? So I was spending all my time at home being just shut in. I wasn't miserable by any means lately. Fortunately, I've had a good, outlook, mindset. By the way, that McDonald's arches, I didn't plan on that being in the background. That's kind of cool. Nice little accent in the background. Angela, no, you're not upsetting me. It's just I'm mad about what a waste paying rent around here is. The average rent for a one-bedroom apartment in Arlington, Virginia, is $1,678 a month. That's outrageous. You pay all that money, you're not getting any more square footage, any more benefits, any more amenities than anywhere else. You're just getting the location of being around a bunch of immensely rich politicians and lobbyists and contractors. That's it. They're the ones who drive up the property prices, and you're paying your landlord's mortgage. When you pay the rent, the landlord gets to use that, the bank gets to use that, but you don't get to keep it. And on top of that, I had shitty roommates I didn't like. So why am I paying all this money to have people moved in who suck and are annoying, who like to party, who act like everyone's got to love them, everything's great for them, they got to sing like fucking diseased animals. Oh! Oh! So anyways, I decided, screw it. I'm not going to pay any more landlords. I encourage everyone to do the same if it's possible. Boycott landlords. Anyways, I'm so angry. I fucking hate landlords. And I hate how we can't have affordable housing around here. And these frail, delicate, rich white people don't want homeless people around them. They don't want to have to support them, so they make it illegal to be homeless in every respect they can. It's illegal to sleep in your car in most places. It's illegal... some places are making it illegal to give food to the homeless, to give blankets to the homeless, because it's considered giving them camping gear. It's illegal for homeless to panhandle in certain places now. Not necessarily around here, but I read about like places in Florida they're doing that. So they're trying to make it so you have to die if you're poor. It's so pathetic. Pisses me off so much. Thank you, Nazdar. Appreciate it. Got 14 people in here. All right, so again, I'll say it again for people who missed it the first time. Noor, my friend who's a makeup artist and worked on short films with me, helped me get the job I have now to this day, 5 years later. And she offered me a couch to sleep on if I ever needed a couch, but she's in Austin, Texas. So she said, if you're ever in Austin, let me know if you need a couch. Her roommate disappeared on her, told her last minute he's not coming back. And so he didn't pay his half of the rent, $686. That was on November 7th. She found out he wasn't coming back. November 10th, she would have been evicted if she couldn't come up with it. So I was doing this donation live stream. I donated $75 to her, by the way. But she told me she got an extension on the rent. It's to the 15th. She put in an ad for a roommate, but it looks like she's deciding to just go back to the DC area for a while, get a job here for a while. And at least she'll have a place to stay around here. But it's ridiculous why people have to upheave their whole lives for that. Fortunately, she's got, you know, things kind of worked out. She's got family around here. She's got people who will support her. She's got, you know, skills, and she can work a good job. You know, fortunately, she's able to work, even though she just had surgery and she was out of work for a few weeks. But that goes to show you how easy it is to become homeless. And then we criminalized the homeless. This place in Fairfax, the Lamb Center, I read a news article about them saying they're a church that helps the homeless. Like, you go to their building, like I did the other day, and they have all kinds of stuff about listing, you know, what donations they're accepting, all kinds of services they do for the homeless. I don't need any of that. All I need is just a place to sleep. And they used to let people sleep in their parking lot in the car. I thought that's great. And they're in this little side street. It's quiet. It's off the main road. So I'm like, that'd be great, you know, to sleep there. And it's safe. Everybody, you know, looks out for each other. It's not like you got a lot of traffic coming through there. Yeah, Australia is not cheap to rent, Angela. That's right. I know, because in Australia it is not cheap to rent. In Australia, both my children have moved back home. How are your parents both doing? They're both doing well, although my mom really needs help on her home. I may have videos about that soon. She needs a lot of work done on the roof and or ceiling in her porch. Now the electrical system's messed up and the power cuts out on her home. I may try and get the mad scientist, my friend who fixed up my car and it passed inspection, and saved me about $500 in doing so. It ended up costing me about $26, and I bought him lunch and dinner. But he's an electrician as well, so he may come out and look at my mom's house. She fired the last contractor working on it because he was charging a ton of money. And she already paid the deposit to him to work on her ceiling of her porch. And so that hurt her. But I said, like, so what? You gotta, if he's charging too much, don't go through with him. And she said, no, I will. Well, she fired him anyway. So now she paid the deposit, and she took another day when I could have talked to my friend and see if he'd work on it. So maybe he'll come over next week. Maybe I can film it too. Because he has, well, anyways, that'll be funny. I'm not going to rent an apartment, Nasdar. Screw landlords, especially around here. It's mostly big corporations that own apartment buildings, and so they can be slow to repair things if they want. They can raise the rent if they want. They'll raise it. I mean, they know how to work the system. They have lots of people waiting. There's not enough apartments around here for everyone. You have to be ready to basically move at a moment's notice and have all the money saved up already, because otherwise someone else will want to move there. But my friend Noor, I got to get back to that. She was facing eviction on November 10th. She got an extension to the 15th, or did I already say that? But anyways, she said now she'll be able to move back to the DC area, and she's probably going to do that. Oh, by the way, we got a like. So everybody click the like button. That helps YouTube promote my videos and put them to the top of people's recommendations. Hey, I need it because I want to get these videos out there too, especially now that I'm protesting landlords. Screw them. Everybody should protest them. Know your rights. Tenants should know their rights against landlords. I read an article about landlords who were suing people for eviction over sometimes $25, $20, $18 in unpaid rent to people who were on a lot of government assistance, who barely had any extra money to pay rent, who were often sick, unable to work, all kinds of problems. They're already in poverty because the landlord wanted to redevelop renovate the apartment complex to get more high-income housing, and so the quickest way to get those people out was to sue them for eviction, because he knew a lot of them couldn't fight it, and it would be miserable for them to fight it. And so they end up going to even poorer neighborhoods, and it's mostly black people. They're doing that too. So it's a way of keeping people segregated and just saying, we don't care about the poor, be even more poor. The rich get even more rich. So disgusting and sickening. How can people live with themselves doing that to others? But anyways, I was talking about the Lamb Center. I read an article talking about how you used to be able to sleep there. So I messaged them and said, can people do that? They said, unfortunately, no, we can't do that anymore because of city regulations. So how fucked is that? Fairfax, you rich, white, greedy suburb, they don't want people being able to sleep in their cars in that parking lot. What kind of element would it bring here? It might bring drug addicts. But yeah, now people who are homeless can just try and sleep like fugitives and hide wherever they can, instead of having a place where they could all meet and know they were safe. Well, they should get jobs. They should work. They should be able to pay $1,700 a month in rent and make $60,000 a year. That's what I did. So they don't want people to be able to live around them. They don't want it to be affordable too. Okay, if you're going to have it so you can't sleep in your car, why not make Fairfax affordable? They don't want that. They want to make it so if you can't afford it, you can't be there. That's it. Oh, get off, get out of the way. Like Dave Chappelle's, sketch, like, get out of the way, grouch. Stepping over a homeless person. I don't know what you're saying, Nazdar. What language is that? It looks like you said something in Greek earlier. Is it all Greek? Anyways. Yeah, it looks Greek. Anyway, so yeah, Noor will be okay. Fortunately, she's going to be moving back to the DC area, finding a job around here. I ate too much McDonald's because it was really cheap, and I wanted to, spread out my time there. McChicken, $1 for that sandwich. And you get it from the self-serve thing, and they just come over to your table and drop it off there. And you can even add extra lettuce on there for 25 cents. But the sales tax in Virginia is 10%? I didn't realize it was that much. I knew it was a lot, but I never could do the math because, it was always like, I don't do it on like uneven numbers or whatever, but $1, that makes it clear, 10 cents. Like, I didn't know, is there some other fee in there? But 10 cents, what the hell, it is so high. I understand that there's things, the government funds that they need to fund, but why is it when we have a system exploiting people like this, the first thing to do isn't to decide immediately where can we cut wasteful spending, destructive spending, subsidies on big corporations, massive tax breaks on big corporations. I'm not against tax breaks or all tax breaks, but why not trying to say it eloquently, or why not do business with massive government contractors that make weapons, massive weapons and war. We have so many government contractors around here like Lockheed Martin and Boeing that make massive weapons, that make warships, that make fighter jets. Why not do that? Oh, we've got to fund the military. It's got to be hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars a year. And of course, that's like 50% of the jobs around here is like government contractors, which raises up the rents and property values and the sales taxes and everything. Why can't we just cut out some of the way? First thing I do when I make a budget, figure out where I can stop spending money. I don't figure out like, okay, I'm going to spend this much, so fuck it. Like, I'm just going to run roughshod and I'll just get the money I need from wherever I can. Yeah, I know. McDonald's not got. I feel a headache from eating that. Ugh. I should have just gotten a salad instead of all the chicken nuggets and chicken sandwiches. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a P.O. box. Oh, thank you, Candy. You donated. Appreciate that so much. And I know Noor does as well. P.O. box. Oh, yeah, you can send gift cards for real food. So thank you, Annie. I forgot to look into that this week. Shit. So next week I'll look into that. That's all I can say. One thing I got to do, I really got to get a laptop. Because I wanted to go to my mom's house last night to edit a video. I was just going to put up one real short video I had on my computer at her house. And I would have just put it together real quick and just done it late at night and took the computer apart and put it back away again. But her power was out last night because her power's been cutting out because of like water in her electrical system or something. So I'm going to see if my mad scientist friend will come over. She's so, my mom is so stubborn and arrogant, you know, and she can be real chauvinistic. She's like, no, I can't have him. I can't afford him. I say, he'll look for free. He saved me $500 on my car. I mean, if you're going to get someone, I don't care. I don't need to get him over there for him. It means nothing to me. But okay, if you need someone, here's a guy who could use it. He helped me out for basically for free. All I did was just pay for the parts and pay for when he fixed my car and pay for his lunch and dinner. And he didn't even ask me to do that. I insisted on doing that. So, not a great business strategy for him. He should He should charge more money. Grocery store. Have you been to Lidl? It's a grocery store that sells cheap food. I've never heard of it. Are you talking about Aldi? Because Aldi, I went to my first one the other day. It's weird. It's like a tiny, tiny little grocery store with not much stuff, but yeah, it is super cheap. The thing is, for me, I just got to be able to get stuff I can take in my car, so it's kind of inconvenient to get certain groceries. Yeah, exactly. My mom makes so many excuses. That's right. So she was like, no, I can't. Well, here we are, like 5 days later, where she's already paid the deposit to the other guy that she fired, took his tools out, put them in front of her house so he could pick them up because he wasn't answering his phone, so she could tell him that we're not working together anymore, or they're not working together. And so now she's saying, okay, maybe the mad scientist who was working on my car, he could come over because he's an electrician too, and he knows home repair, so he could potentially work on her roof and do a good job and do it very cheap. She's like, no, I can't. I don't have the money. I said, he'll look at it for free. See, why is that's what she did. Like, that's my life with her. That's how she is. You say something, you get yelled at for 30 minutes. That's how it was when I was a kid. I'd want to ask to go to my friend's house, ask if I could just walk there. She'd yell at me for 30 minutes or an hour, and then I could go there. So I just wasted all that time for nothing. Don't have kids if you're going to be like that. If you can't stop screaming. She was my age when I was a teenager. I can't imagine doing that to a kid. No! No! Oh, I don't want to scream so much when there's someone parked next to me. There's a Lidl too? I don't know what Lidl is. I've never even heard of it. I know you live further out, Allie, in Virginia. Maybe it's in your area, but I've never heard of it. People click the like button. Again, helps me, helps the videos get to the top of people's recommendations on YouTube. I was just screaming no like my mom, and now someone pulled up next to me, but who cares? Whatever. Right now, where do I live? I live wherever I want. That's the answer. Yeah, I don't live anywhere. I'm homeless. I sleep wherever I want. I've slept different nights, different places, several nights this week. Slept in different parts of Virginia, different parking lots. Slept on a couch one night. Yeah, I just sleep wherever. And basically, also I'm pissed off that being homeless is basically criminalized. So you can go to jail for sleeping in your car. Most of the time, that probably won't happen. They'll just tell you, move, the police will just tell you, hey, move along. Or they'll just let you go. They'll say it's not even worth, telling you to move along for if they know you're homeless. But they can if they want. And other people can hassle you for it, certainly. And if somebody calls the police because you're sleeping in their neighborhood in your car, the police can definitely tell you to move because they'll say, well, we got a complaint. So, even if they don't care, they understand the neighbors object. So it seems like this was the plan. Make it expensive to live here, so it's almost impossible for a lot of people. When you live in your car, make it criminal to sleep in your car. Don't provide many shelters. Don't provide much affordable housing. There's barely affordable housing here. Even the government-assisted housing and rent-controlled is still very expensive. It's like over $1,000 a month for rent in a lot of places. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Actually, I'm doing pretty well. Actually, I forgot. That reminds me, I should take my vitamins and fish oil. I'm really trying to make sure my health stays good while I'm in my car, because definitely don't want to get sick. There we go. Great. Now I got a bunch of empty water bottles here. But yeah, my mood's been fine. Fortunately, I've been staying busy. That's good. And it's just good to, feel connected, feel productive. That's a big thing. I'm so frustrated. I tried to change my address with the DMV. The website's still consistently broken. Whenever I try to go, I log in and everything, try to change. I did it on my computer and I did it on my phone. It's just a broken link once you get to the actual page to change your address. So I tried calling the DMV, the number they gave. Every time I called, I got a busy signal. How is that possible? I got a busy signal calling the DMV. So now, and this is Virginia DMV, please somebody tell them this. I don't feel like it anymore. How much can I do? You people, my friends, my minions. I don't like to say minions. My friends, please tell the DMV, tweet at them or something. I don't know. Tell them about their broken website for the change of address and their broken phone number. A busy signal? What is there, only one line? So, and I would have thought it would have been automated, like you'd call and it just, you know, ask you to, or I guess maybe there has to be a person there. But yeah, it was a busy signal. So what the hell? Is there one person able to take all of Virginia's address changes? So instead I went to Kinko's, which was in a terrible location, really pain in the ass to park in, and in Alexandria. No, I don't have Instagram. I feel like I got enough accounts on everything. And I went to Kinko's, printed out the form for changing your address, and I'll have to mail it to their office in Richmond to change my address. How ridiculous. Anyways, I feel like ranting so much. It's so stupid how we treat the homeless around here. Make it too expensive to live, make rent prices too high, make groceries too expensive, give billions and billions of dollars to companies that make weapons and war, give billions and billions of dollars for wasteful military programs that even the soldiers and the sailors don't like. And then when it comes to people here, oh, one shelter popped up around here, there, wherever. In the winter, you get more hypothermia sleeping spots in shelters. And medical care is extremely expensive. We don't have a system worked out to take care of people where we'd be saving tons of money by doing that and saving lives. Can't do that. But if you want to sleep in your car, it's illegal. Sorry. Sorry, you bum, you homeless. Why don't you get a job? You're not white enough. You should be white. That's what white people are like. And white's a mindset. It's not just a skin color. Because nobody can agree as to who's white. I might be white to some people, to others I'm not. But a lot of rich white people around here have basically decided we don't want apartments around where we live. We're going to zone those out. We want homeowners associations to make it very, very fucking expensive to live around here. And if you can't afford it, or if you don't manage your house exactly the way we like, they can foreclose your house. We don't want apartments to have affordable housing, so there's always a shortage of housing. People are trying to find homes last minute, come up with deposits, work 2 jobs, never have money saved, hope they don't get sick, work jobs that don't pay well, be in an area that's overcrowded, not enough public transportation. And instead of trying to make this area more affordable, they say, we'll keep it very expensive. We'll just make it illegal to be poor. So you can't get help you need. There's not many shelters. There's not many places you can sleep in your car. They want it to be, they just saying, we don't care about you. We want you to leave. So where's the dignity in that? And there's a lot of angry white people I've learned who are like that. I'm glad I've been pushed out of that community, feeling like I can see them around me now. Now I can tell, like, what was this confusion I felt about me all the time, where I can see, you know, other people carry it with them. Guys, like, I heard a guy, he was such an asshole, an abusive asshole, cussing about somebody. Apparently it was like, it wasn't even what he thought. It was like just a woman maybe snuck into the men's bathroom or something, or it wasn't even that. I forget what the situation was, but it was just some, I don't know, maybe she didn't want to wait in the line in the women's room. I really can't, or maybe she was trying to, you know, sneak in with her boyfriend. I don't remember what the situation was. And, oh, actually, I don't even think, here's another option. I can't remember exactly, because the whole thing was confusing. It was at my job, and I was trying to, you know, figure out what was going on. Someone said, hey, I think a woman's in the man's bathroom. But it wasn't. I think they just thought somebody looked like a woman. Yeah, I think that's what it was. But it was no big deal. And this guy's like, what the fuck, man? Huge fucking giant of a man. He's like, what the fuck, man? He started complaining about transgender people, saying these people are all confused. They don't know what they are. So he started hating on a bunch of people for something that didn't even happen, over something he's completely ignorant about. That's fucking white hatred and white entitlement. Disgusting. Thank you, Nasdar. Sorry, I keep touching the screen. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm just trying to keep the comments like, yeah, rich white slumlords getting richer at the expense of the poor. Damn right. Annie says, that's absurd. Why can't one sleep in their own car? In a lot of places, it's illegal. They've made it like a city ordinance or, yeah, I think it's city by city. They create laws on that. And the excuses, the rationales for not letting fucking poor or I'm not necessarily even poor, like, but a lot of people are. They like a lot of them can't work or lost jobs due to illness, and they got, you know, all kinds of health problems, and they sleep in their car, and that compounds their health problems. But a lot of the excuse that a lot of rich white people give is they don't want, basically they don't want problems that are associated with homeless people or people sleeping in their cars in their neighborhoods. So they don't want people shooting up drugs. They don't want people urinating in the bushes. If they don't want all that stuff, hey, let people sleep in places that are common areas and have bathrooms there. Hell, have it a little dispenser where you can put in money. If people want to donate, they can just say, you know, pay what you can. And anyone else is free to walk up and donate too, like a wishing well. Why not do that? Hello, we have creative solutions so people don't have to piss in the bushes. But instead, those people can do it. They just have to do it in secret. They have to hide. It's so fucking pathetic. Yeah, if you're too drunk to drive, you can't sleep in your car. Well, yeah, in Virginia, it's a law now. You can't have your keys in the ignition. Like, you can't even lie back and have the air conditioning running. So who is that protecting? That's not protecting anyone. That's not a law protecting people from drunk drivers. That's stopping responsible people from resting in their cars and sobering up. In the name of, you know, protecting scared parents, scared white suburban parents, who, by the way, I dealt with at another bar I worked at out in Fairfax, where you really see angry white entitlement. Guys coming in with hunting gear. One guy ranting. I don't know what it is. Big fucking angry guys. Pissed off all the time. This guy would come in and be like, there's no bartender. What the hell? When the bartender just had to step away from the bar for a second. But one time he was complaining to me about, he does like some kind of like plowing work or city work, you know, like it basically was kind of a handyman, I guess. Big angry asshole. And I don't know how you can live like that and just be miserable. And I've experienced a lot of those guys. I couldn't believe it, seeing just angry, pissed off white men just screaming at people over nothing. But he started ranting about how this guy in the parking lot of the bar I worked at wasn't plowing it properly because he was like putting salt down first and then plowing, so he was just pushing salt around. And he's like, man, I tell you, you try and work with Indians over that stuff. I don't even want to repeat that now. I see. I don't even want to unintentionally like keep spreading the racist lies and propaganda he was saying. But he was saying stuff about Indians, how he didn't like working with them. Then he started talking about Jews, and then he said to me, I don't know if you're Jewish. And then he went into a rant about Jewish people. Angry fucking white assholes. And another guy I worked with once, this was out in Manassas, right after I recovered from getting sick for 9 months. I was looking for any jobs I could. I got a job one night. It was a temporary thing at a county fair. And it was hard work. Actually, my allergies flared up so bad I couldn't go in the next day. I was coughing and sneezing like crazy. And but this guy, 21 years old, just pissed off all that. He was like a character in King of the Hill. I was like, so what do you do? He's like, I deliver pizzas. And these kids were lining up for this game. We had to pull a heavy rope, and I was very weak at the time. But we had to pull a heavy rope to, like, it was some kind of, I forget what it was, some game, carnival game the kids played. But these kids weren't lining up in a line properly. And he was like, and he literally screamed at these kids like, y'all gotta get in line. The guy was 21 and already that I wanted to fuck. He was already an angry white guy, like just didn't want to talk, didn't want to say any more than necessary. Everybody has to be like be aware of the stick up his ass that might make him uncomfortable if it accidentally a little wind gets to it. So anyway, and I bet he's racist to hell. I dealt with a lot of those guys. I worked out in McLean. for 2 years or so, almost 2 years, I think. And it was like that too. Worked with angry fucking white guys. Spit, cuss, slam phones, brag about how, they don't like certain groups of people. One guy was bragging about what a misogynist he is. Always dead eyes and like... just pieces of shit. Anyways... so it's everywhere. You can trick yourself into thinking, well, it's only a problem of a few people, a few outliers, a few extremists. But it's a culture. It's baked into the attitude across huge populations in America. And that includes like outright hostility for the homeless. It's disgusting. Yep, that's right. Turk travels. They're raised to expect people to bow down to their authority and are enraged when they are faced with reality. That's exactly right. It's sad, and like it's something I didn't realize until I was older, and I bought into a lot of that idea, like the police righteousness and stuff. And fortunately, I didn't have much of a chance to ever act it out, but I definitely supported those ideas and supported the ideas of white male supremacy, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. Now it's disgusting to even say I did. But I bought into those myths because they're so baked into everything. They permeate so much of our world, they seem invisible. They seem like, well, that's just how the world is. Why would you question that? So of course, if someone's homeless, like I was raised to believe it's their fault. And that's what I believed. And that's what so many people are taught to believe. They don't even hide it. They're not ashamed of it. It's naked. It's out in the open. Let's see. And these, and here these people assume that they are in like company because you're a white male. They talk to you as though you can understand and relate. That's right. Yep. And that happens to me. And I hate that too. I hate guys get to talking to me about Trump once in a while. It doesn't happen much, but talking about stuff like that, like give him a chance, give Trump a chance. You don't know what he's going to do. To even say that, you have to ignore such a huge body of evidence, and you have to buy into such a white supremacist mindset that like it's so narrow in its view that you don't see any of the stuff like this was during the campaign that Trump did during the campaign, and the whole history, centuries of racism that were informing Trump's views, that had been perpetuated through society down to people like me. And as we can see, my brother, probably both brothers, but at least my brother, the criminal, Michael, still believes that stuff. NRA member, angry douchebag. He's just like that. Angry douche, aggressive driver, goes up to people real close behind them and then quickly swerves behind into the next lane. So that means, by the way, if the person in front of them slows down while he's turning, there's someone else speeding up in the next lane, he can't slow down because they're going to be going faster. So it puts himself in a dangerous situation for no reason. But anyways, that's what he's like. He's just an angry guy that you don't want to be cross with. I've seen him be mean to his girlfriend. He's definitely been mean to my mom, and be mean to my other brother. I have video of them fighting. And then he tried to fight me, and he's totally unrepentant to this day. The other day, I heard him yelling, and my house like, dumbass, dumbass, just cussing. He's got everything he wants. He lives in mommy's basement that's remodeled, that some of our friends helped remodel. Really, my friends anymore. Their family helped remodel. And he drives a nice Lexus with a douchebag vanity license plate with a little, like a statement that's like bragging. I won't say what it says. But he has everything he wants. He's very, by the way, I know he's very like jingoistic about Greece. Like what he's very big into like Greek pride, which what does he have to be proud of about Greece? He's not from there. We don't have any, like there's no more connection to that than anything else except we've been there a few times. That's it. But he looks like Greek pride. That's what you do when you have no identity and you want to buy into a fascistic mindset of power and domination. He loves guns, and he doesn't have he hasn't changed since he was a kid. I changed a lot, but some people are willing to change, some not. I used to be a hardcore conservative, I met Sean Hannity. I skipped class to meet him. I was a big fan of Tucker Carlson as well. I read one of his books. I went to see him do a TV show when he was hosting Crossfire. I was a big fan of lots of other conservatives. Laura Ingraham. I would listen to Rush Limbaugh. I read his books, but I changed. Now I say all those people are big pieces of shit. What are people saying? Huh. Thanks, Nazdar. Landlords do that kind of stuff is the pettiest power trip there is. Yep. Oh, yeah. And my landlord, Debbie in Annandale, is a huge piece of shit about that stuff. Huge bully. Hello, Thomas. Nazdar, some people are just rude. Excuse me. Man, I went on a rant there. We got to do something, people. And there are protests, by the way. There are people who protest slumlords, who go out canvassing to give people resources and information on how to battle their slumlords and how to, you know, deal with them in court and avoid eviction and try and get them to repair things they're supposed to. Debbie, my landlord, definitely avoided trying to repair things she was supposed to, and she admitted it to me in text messages. She's like, "Oh, some things aren't my responsibility. Stuff like the door handle that came off the front door. I thought your other roommate was going to fix it." So that's it. She just left it to my other roommate, and of course he didn't fix it. Ugh, man, roommates suck. Don't deal with it. Turk Travels, man, you're speaking the truth. It's easy to be conservative when you've never been outside the U.S. or your home state and when one directly benefits from conservative policies. That's right. And your brother sounds like a toddler? Yeah, he's an angry, hateful douchebag. 2 convictions for assault and battery against me. He's attacked me more times than that. And he still lives at home with mommy. And he still gets in, "What the fuck is Angelo doing here? Angelo, you're stupid." Let's give every Angelo a thumbs up. That would be nice. Hey, thanks. I still got to work on my Spanish. I'm still working on it, by the way. I really want to become fluent and meet more Hispanic people. And I would love to help them out in some way that I could, whatever, even if it's just speaking Spanish and being able to communicate with them and let them know, hey, like, I'm an American, but I'm someone they can, you know, at least trust or whatever. Just I'm not opposed to their existence. And I mean, that's the least you can ask. But in other words, it's like, I'm making the step to be able to communicate with them so they don't have to just be in their own little world. I don't like to say, I said that, you know, a little hastily. I mean, like, they don't have to, you know, a lot of immigrants live in fear of, you know, being exposed, being deported, and also they don't learn English. So, I mean, they speak Spanish, and they're almost, you know, afraid to learn English, and they don't have the time, and a lot of them, you know, they just don't know how to start. And so me learning Spanish, it's a good way to show, like, hey, you know, there's ways to broaden your world, and, you know, someone's willing to do that, or I don't know. I don't like to aggrandize myself, but just knowing someone else is willing to, you know, open up and communicate, and that I'm not supporting deportations, and I'm not, you know, someone who supports the existence of these people. And who knows, whatever other benefits there could be, you know, even if it's just hanging out, if it's working together on something, making money, getting housing. I would love to just be connected with Hispanic immigrants, just to piss off, not just to piss off white supremacists, because that's not to say I don't care about helping them, but it's to say that, like, they're one and the same. I'm so glad doing the right thing or doing a good thing is pissing off white supremacists. So I'll do it to piss off white supremacists. But what am I doing? It's not I'm just pissing off white supremacists like in a vacuum. I'm helping out people that they wish would not get help and that they wish to be demonized and marginalized and exploited. So that's great. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy helping those people. Well, I didn't live in Greece, Nazdar. I was just on vacation there in Samos twice. Once when I was 7 and another time when I was 19. It was fine, by the way. Like, I don't know. When I was 19, I mostly read books there. That was when I was still a conservative. I read a lot of conservative books. Tammy Bruce. Who the hell else? Bernard Goldberg. I don't remember everybody else. I read a lot of books there. Yeah, 'cause I didn't really care. I don't know. What do I care about being on an island? And wasn't much to do there. So You know, it was pretty boring. And everything's so tiny. Streets are tiny, the rooms are tiny, showers tiny. Yeah, exactly. Turk Travels, you put it a good way. Helping people with the added benefit of getting to be petty. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I get to piss off white supremacists by doing something I enjoy, by connecting with Hispanic immigrants and letting them feel a little bit more confident, a little more validated. I don't mean to aggrandize myself, you know, like, oh, I'm the savior or something. It means nothing like that. Just I'm glad to be informing, you know, some people's world. And that they can see, hey, here's an American who's trying, instead of them having to do all the work, the heavy lifting of finding communities that will support them and being, you know, amongst each other to find jobs where they won't get, you know, rejected, where they can apply because they're not, if they're not citizens, all that kind of stuff. And if they're not legally allowed to work in the U.S. and find apartments and having to live underground, which is so pathetic that we do that to people. Especially people who come from countries that American government policy has helped destroy. Instead of them having to do all that work, I'm sure it's nice to see someone else is willing to do it and willing to try. And I enjoy it. I enjoy learning Spanish. At what age did you change your views and how the transition happened? It didn't. It was just very gradual. I don't know. It's like asking, when did you become an adult? You know, there's no one age of becoming an adult. It was a gradual thing that I'm going to run my engine a little bit because I've been running my battery so long to keep my phone charged before work. So I just want to make sure, I just want to make sure, you know, my battery, my car's staying charged. I'm sure it is, like it's, you know, not using much energy, but I love the video when your mom was swearing to the Turkish. Thanks. But yeah, just gradual. It was a gradual, slow process of being informed by certain things. And fortunately, I always had a little bit of a sense of, I want to know when I'm wrong. That was very much, you know, not very, like, active in me when I was younger. And I was utterly confident that I knew everything I needed to know. And so it's hard to get through someone with that mentality. But I was also willing to learn very slowly and very little for a long time. And that's kind of it. Have the live streams helped your sub count? I'll leave that all to you all to answer. I don't know. I hope so. We're on our way to 14,000 subscribers. So eventually I want to get to 15,000 and 20,000 and beyond. No, it wasn't a particular event, Lefto. Like, it wasn't any one thing. No, definitely not. It wasn't anything that, you know, that made me aware. It was just gradual realizations of the people that I looked down on, that I didn't realize I looked down on, people that I felt contempt for, that I didn't realize I felt contempt for, people that I thought deserved what they got in life, and I didn't realize, like, that was an excuse for hundreds of years of abuse and exploitation of them and killing of many of them. All the white supremacist myths that I believed in. So I know where conservatives coming from. They're not, like, saying anything new to me when they, you know, say stuff to me like, oh, you're just making trouble, you're just anti-white, all this stuff. I'm like, I know what it's like, I know what you're thinking, like, I know what you believe. I've been through it all, I've seen it all, like, I experienced it. Fortunately, I never felt that at home or comfortable among conservative communities either. Like, you know, I'd go to events with conservatives or Republicans. Like, I didn't feel like there was much in common as far as, you know, thoughts, like our thoughts and ideas. I felt like it was more about just a bunch of people who wanted to party or aggrandize themselves. So that also felt, I'm turning on my defrost now. That also made it a little bit apparent to me that, you know, there wasn't much integrity there. But it's not like that alone disillusioned me. It was a long process of just slowly learning and really just wanting to learn about stuff that I didn't feel was political. But now I can see how it is, like how everything's political because of how we try and confine it to only, you know, certain acceptable boundaries, like talking about black poverty. Seems like, oh, it's not political. Conservatives say, well, if, you know, that's on black people. They blame black people for their own poverty that the U.S. government has put them through, that corporate policies put them through, that their white neighbors put them through, and then blame them for all the results afterwards, and blame them for the police brutality against them, or dismiss it, marginalize it. On Charlie Kirk, I know his talking points. I know how he's so vapid. He has no substance behind what he thinks. He obviously takes the simplest talking points and repeats them back, or he'll say stuff like, he'll mock the idea that police killing 13 unarmed black people is a big deal. He's like, only 13 people. Only How stupid is that? You don't just kill 13 people and it's confined to 13 cops. And by the way, even if it was, that would be horrific. Are you kidding me? Like it was just an aberration and unpreventable. There's a whole broader spectrum of people and ideas in place to bolster the institutions and the police who are engaged in that kind of abuse and killing. So for every out and out person who's racist, like outspokenly racist or whatever, there's several more that are less so, but that just believe in the general ideas that prop up that racist person, and then many more who buy into those general conservative ideas, and many, many more who buy into supposed American ideals. And it's a broad spectrum, this ecosystem that's mutually reinforcing, that inspires each other and is inspired by racism. And so we do things like criminalize homelessness by making it illegal to sleep in your car in most places, assuming that it's the homeless person's fault. Instead of just making it better for homeless people to sleep in their cars, making for more affordable housing so they don't have to sleep in their cars, better jobs, cheaper transportation, safer transportation, better environment, cheaper groceries, less war. I mean, less weapons, less fighter jets, less military bases around the world, less drug operations by the DEA, less wasteful war on drug spending, less corporate prisons, less corporate jails, less brutalization of immigrants. That all, if you just look at the money, costs us hundreds of billions of dollars. Thank you, Nasdar. You say your mom's, she's funny. Thank you. Nasdar says, Angelo, each time I look at you in your mom's video, I laugh lots. Thanks. And I wish I could meet you guys. Thank you. Well, I'd like to meet you too. Maybe someday we will. Anyways. Okay, I'll just shut off the engine now. For a little bit. So my friend Noor, again, for anybody who missed it, just get the short of the situation. She got an extension on her rent until the 15th of November. But after that, it looks like she's going to move to the back to the DC area and get a job here for a while. So she's lucky. She has people around here, hey, Jacob, thanks, cool. Jacob says, my first time catching you live. Angelo, thanks. Turk Travel says it's propaganda, plain and simple. They're relying on the constant violence to downplay the constant violence, victim blaming across the board. That's exactly right. And it's so easy to indoctrinate kids into believing that. And I was one of those kids who believed that. It wasn't even Fox News that did that, by the way. I didn't know Fox News existed until I was like 16 or something. It was channels like CNN when they would play footage of black people, like some political event around that was based around something happening with poor black people. They would play black people, like they would pick footage and film them, and that was dehumanizing. That would only show them like fighting or yelling. And so you assume in your comfortable home that I grew up in, like, well, what are they yelling about? They're just being angry for no reason. And you don't even assume that's a political statement or political act. You just assume that's reality. And so someone like me as a kid and so many other white kids can be like, well, they should stop being so angry. They should stop being so entitled. That's white supremacy in action, because those kids don't necessarily have any animosity directly towards white people. I mean, towards black people, excuse me. They don't have animosity towards them. They don't believe they're an inferior race, but they believe the white supremacist myths that the people who do believe they're an inferior race excuse me, have put into place. They believe in the myths that the people who do hate blacks, the myths that they inform themselves with and are inform others with, that I won't even repeat the negative stereotypes because they don't deserve repeating. There's enough of that around. But the news still does that. They don't cover social, like community organizers who work against violence in black neighborhoods. But when a police kills a black person, then they'll show black people protesting, and then they'll act like, oh, they're rioters, they're wild. But they didn't show the peaceful protests. They didn't show the community organizers working after school with kids. And so they portray an image that white supremacy props up of black people as this. And when even when people find, like, for instance, there's documentaries online. Whenever there's a documentary from Journeyman Pictures about Black Lives Matter activism, gets tons of racist comments and downvotes. Even when it shows community organizers working against violence in black communities, like Spike Lee, the director, working in Chicago with kids after school to make sure they had activities after school so they weren't just in a vacuum with nothing to do and would make trouble, or at the very least just not do much good. So he was doing that. People, for some reason, people hated that. People downvoted it. They put racist comments. They call them all the racist caricatures that the hardcore white supremacists call them as well. And they just do a slightly milder version of that. So it's a spectrum. It's everywhere. We don't even see it because it's so pervasive, it seems invisible. It's like on everything. It's like a substance that coats everything. You don't even notice it. You go blind to it. Anyways, I just wish more people would do something about this. Would just, inform others. Just say something when someone says, negative stereotype or some. Man, I still got a headache from that McDonald's food. Yeah, I'm all right, but yeah, next time I'll just get a salad. Anyways, look, I'm going to get going. I just feel like I've said enough. I've said plenty. How many times can I say this stuff? I want to get the message out there, but I wish, it was more pervasive. And so people in the media who ostensibly are against racism, they don't really fundamentally understand the worst parts of it that are trafficked in, that both motivate and inspire and are motivated by the media themselves. People who, act like, well, one person's racist, but the other one says racism's bad. They're both equally valid. So this is just like a contest, like a sports contest. There's nothing at stake. It doesn't matter. So let's just give air the racist myths and let those be propagated and let racist audiences be worked up over that. And those people go out and vote. And when they're voting, they're not voting necessarily for, pitchforks and mobs to go kill black people, but what are they voting for? White supremacist policies that will keep non-whites poor, they'll keep them out of the country, that will brutalize them, put them in prison, get them killed, get them without medical care, proper education, without having neighborhoods that even just have basic things they need, like hospitals, grocery stores, transportation, and then blame those very people who are exploited by them for their own problems. For their problems that the white supremacists perpetuated onto them. And people buy into white supremacy. So let's stop criminalizing homelessness, everybody. Let's make it so, first of all, it's affordable to live places. Medical care is available to those who need it. And we don't waste so much money on wars around the world and military bases. Stop the war on drugs. Stop criminalizing drugs. It's an excuse to criminalize black people. That's what it is. I was reading a book on criminology recently from Jacqueline something, I can't remember. She has like 3 or 4 degrees in related to criminal science. She laid out stats in her book, Ethical Dilemmas About Criminal Justice, something like that. It's a good book, very dense. But I was reading it for research on a movie I'm writing about crime, kind of a morality play. And it said something like the breakdown of, by race, of people convicted of drug dealing or arrested for drug dealing. About 50% arrested for drug dealing drugs were black. Now, does that seem odd to you? Because black people make up about 13% of the population. They use drugs about the same rate as white people, maybe even less. There is no way they make up 50% of the country's drug dealers. Absolutely no way. But see how that works out? It's so easy for the cops to go after them, to keep them all, to get poor people arrested, to keep them poor, to put them in jail, and give them plea deals where they can say, look, you'll fight this, but you'll have to be in jail for a year, live in misery in jail. Or you can take the plea deal, get a lesser sentence, and have a felony conviction. But if they try and do that to white people, first of all, they see them as more human, so they wouldn't. Second of all, they fund them. You know, their communities are better funded rather than the police being better funded. They're less brutalized. They have more resources. So if a bunch of white people started getting arrested, black people were, you bet that they and their parents would be calling the mayor, the city commission, the governor, their congressman, their congressperson, congresswoman, the representatives, the House of Representatives, all these people they'd be calling. And they'd get their lawyers involved, and they'd make a huge deal of it. Oh, you can't do this to our kids. But they do it to black people because they act like, well, who's going to believe? You know, it's like, who would a judge believe? You know, a person who's been through the system, who's been brutalized, maybe getting government subsidies, or a white cop. And so it's an easy way to brutalize people over and over again and pretend like it's the fault of the people who are being brutalized and killed. Yeah, it's legal slavery. 100% right. Turk Travels, you and we all also need to look at the legal slavery that the jails and prisons are run on, and then the higher rate of black incarceration starts to make sense. Right. Prison corporations are publicly traded. They're big corporations that make tons of money. And the Ethical Dilemmas in Criminal Justice book I read goes into a lot of that, especially corruption scandals, because that's a lot of what the book goes into, is all kinds of dilemmas in crime, including from the, you know, people like the lowest level, like the prison guards and criminals and everything, and jailhouse informants, all that stuff, all the way to CEOs of prison corporations that would skim on providing services that were necessary and providing money to the prisons that they were building, to getting tons of money in government contracts and being very friendly and having business relationships with politicians. They make tons of money. Every time someone's arrested and convicted, they make money. How absurd is that? And then prisoners have to work. It's such a simple formula. Why are prisons so miserable? Well, a huge part of it is like, you can see this, it's almost like you can see it as a clear experiment. When prisoners get their stuff taken away, when their rights are stripped away, when they have less stuff to do, the littlest thing becomes huge and occupies their whole vision. So the littlest thing can lead to killing and to all-out like rivalries and wars inside prison. And the guards get corrupted. The guards help bring in drugs. The guards want them fighting. The guards practically set it up like gladiator school, pitting people against each other. So even if prisoners want some unity, the guards will make sure it doesn't happen. All the way up to the CEOs of these companies that make billions of dollars, and they have business relationships with politicians, and it's all kinds of like it should be illegal, but it's legal, and it's essentially kickbacks and bribery. And the prisoners working in the prisons will make sometimes, 20 cents an hour. John Kiriakou, who I interviewed, the former head of counterterrorism in Pakistan, he went to prison for almost 2 years, related to blowing the whistle on torturing a terrorist suspect. He said he was paid like 45 cents a month for his job in federal prison. And he said he wasn't afraid of the fellow prisoners. He was afraid of the guards because they were so duplicitous. Ice-T said in an interview that the police would be harassing everyone in his neighborhood. That's why NWA wrote "Fuck the Police," because police were acting like a gang. Yep, that's right. Police can act like a legalized gang. That's true. Jail and prison should be about reformation of a human, not dehumanization of someone who's already in need of help. Right, exactly. Because how much benefit can you get from additional pain, additional punishment? There's not much benefit from it. When someone's in that situation, they turn to despair, they turn to violence, they turn to the only things around them that are useful. So it's no surprise at all. And we have what, like 2.6 million prisoners in America? More than China, more than North Korea? How ridiculous are we? We'd be so much better off just paying people's colleges instead of paying for them to go to prison. Khalif Browder's story was heartbreaking. Still no real change. Yeah, Rikers Island is still open, isn't it? It's scheduled to be closed, but it's still open. Brutal. That place is like, you talk about gladiator school, that place is horrific. And those rappers get harassed or arrested expressing themselves. right? Like Congress didn't want them. You look at some of those music videos now, they're very mild. But Congress back then, like they were panicking about, oh, explicit lyrics in rap music and explicit music videos. You look at the music videos, the thing they felt was explicit was seeing black people's faces. That's what they like. A lot of them don't have any violence. These white Congress people were just scared of seeing, and the parents, you know, who were writing to them and calling their offices, who said, we got to do something about rap music. They were just scared of seeing black neighborhoods and black people on film. That's it. That's what was explicit to them. That kind of, you know, they show their hand when they do that. All right, thanks, guys. I should get going because I got to get going to work tonight. But hey, at least I'm feeling good. I slept well. I'm finding more places to sleep. I'm saving a little money. I'm going to get a laptop real soon, too, I think, because I can get a refurbished one that's not too expensive. And anyways, guys, thanks again. Oh, man. I rant, but then it's like it's just because I rant, it doesn't mean like I'm not angry after I rant. I'm still angry. I want this stuff addressed. I want this fixed. I want these ignorant people, these ignorant racists to, get some, accountability and to be educated and to be, confronted with the ugly truths that they perpetuate and that they visit upon other people. Cyber Monday deals for laptops? Oh, I didn't think of that. I don't really care, though. I don't know. Why would I wait that long? I got to get stuff up online before that. Screw Cyber Monday, all that crap. Besides, how am I going to order anything now? I don't feel like ordering stuff from my phone. I'll just go to like Micro Center. It's a computer store that they have refurbished laptops. I got one from there before. That was really good. So I'll just get something from there cheap. Like, I don't know exactly how much. I got one from there before. I think it was like $250, maybe $350. Anyways, you could come to Canada sometime. Hey, that'd be cool. I'd like to come. It's weird for me to think there's a whole nother country north of us that they they talk just like us, basically. I mean, they speak English. Because mostly you think of other countries, they speak other languages. Even like, okay, England, Australia, they have different accents. They have their own, local word usage and everything. Anyways, thanks, guys. I got to get going. See you later.